Welcome, everyone, to Survivor's Residuum, where her story is in the making. The technical definition for residuum is a substance or thing that remains or is left behind, in particular, a chemical residue. I like the geology definition because it gets to the heart of this interview series. The geology definition of residuum is a term used to describe the material derived from the in-place weathering of bedrock. Depending on the type of parent rock, residuum can vary in texture, from a coarse, gravelly material to clay. According to vocabulary.com, it is something left after other parts have been taken away. Synonyms are balance, remainder, residual, residue, and rest. Wherever you are listening right now, let's pause and re-listen to the definitions of residuum, and then continue to listen to this interview through that lens. Because today we're talking about a woman who was born with a big heart. A heart that loves hard, and we're going to listen to what is left, the residuum, after that big heart was met with grooming as a child, financial abuse, physical abuse, and spiritual abuse by the men she chose as an adult. What remains when love is used as a weapon? What remains when generosity is treated like a bank account? What remains when good girl and God are used to keep you small? Her residuum is still love, but it's a wiser love now. Let's get into it. Today's episode includes discussion of childhood grooming by a trusted faith leader, sexual trauma, and financial, physical, and spiritual abuse. Take care of yourself while you listen. All right, so this is going to be a hard one to contain because we usually talk for hours. And so, we be getting off the subject a little bit. This is my homie, my sister, my friend, my roomie, all the things, right? So I'm so happy to have Miss Shandy Daggs on our episode.
Thank you.
How you doing, girl?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. Finally,
I know.
our next episode of Survivor's Residuum. I have not sat down with Shandy. She has so many stories. She gonna be back because we got so many stories.
Yes.
But this is part one. Right now, we are talking about big heart red flags. So what we like to do is ask, are you a survivor or are you surviving? Surviving like you're still in the middle of it, or survivor like you've come through it? What do you classify yourself as?
Definitely surviving because it never ends. It's a never ending story. As long as you live, you're always going to have trials and tribulations. So I consider myself as surviving.
Okay, so y'all heard it first here. She is surviving, y'all. So today we're talking to a woman who loves hard. It's her gift. And for most of her life, it is what people have exploited. I can identify you and I are one and the same sometimes. And so I understand how that can be. But what I think is interesting when I talk to you about your story over and over, and I'm like, girl, we need to record this. There are everyday people with everyday stories. Not everybody has to be a celebrity or whatever, famous. And sometimes people just need to hear your story to say, hey, that was me, or that is me.
Yes.
And I can survive and I can get out of this situation. And also to know, hey, watch out, because you might get out of a situation, but you do escape with scars.
Yes.
So I want you to tell your story. So we are going to first talk about, when did you first know you had a big heart? When did you notice that about yourself?
I was just thinking about that. And this happened in first grade. So what happened was you know how everybody, first day of school, maybe second day of school, how your parents get all your colors, your crayons, the markers, the pencils and stuff like that, right? So we was about to color, me and my new friend, I forgot what her name was, and her mom didn't give her crayons and stuff yet. So I had these beautiful colors and some really nice pastel colors. She's like, oh, can I use your colors? I was like, yeah, of course. And then maybe a week later, we was coloring again. I seen that her mom finally got her some crayons or what have you. And I was like, oh, can I use these, whatever? She was like, no. And then that's the first time I was like really hurt, that I was like, oh, Wow, like, I didn't know people could be like that.
Mhm.
That was my first being, like, kinda hurt by a friend.
'Cause you just, like, freely gave and it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"No?"
right. I mean, I don't even think like that, and then I was like, "How do children, like, be cruel?" Well, kids can't be cruel,
Yeah,
but I don't think she knows she was being cruel, but that's just who I am
yeah.
ever since I was small. So,
So
maybe, like, 5 or 6, 7. I don't know, how old are you in the 1st grade?
hmm,
Maybe 7?
that's a good question.
Maybe I think about I was, like, 7-ish.
7, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So that's a hard lesson to learn at 7 years
yeah.
old, that not everybody has the same heart that you have.
Yeah.
In your home and in your church, what did being a good girl mean to you?
Oh, mean to me, I mean to my family.
Yeah, what did it mean to your family? Like, what did you have to do? What did it mean being a good girl?
Okay, being a good girl. Okay, you guys know I'm from the South. I was born in 1980, so I grew up in the 80s, where it was truly the village raised kids, because like my mom worked at night. And so anything I did throughout the daytime, the neighbors like calling my mom for everything. So my mom rules me growing up was no makeup, no boys, of course. Have to go to church every Sunday. You have to wear a dress on the church every Sunday. I was turned away during Easter Sunday practice. It was during the week. I think Sunday was gonna be the Easter. And they told me I couldn't come to church with no shorts on. And it was my auntie.
Mhm,
I was kinda taken back by that, but it
mhm.
was like, whatever. Because, like, even as a child, the Bible said, "Come as you are," so I was kinda conflicted. Plus, my mom, she was angry, but she understood. Me being a girl was very challenging versus my brother.
Mhm.
It was a lot of things that I couldn't do and my brother could do because I mean, I understand it now, but I didn't understand it growing up. Yeah.
That was your foundation of being a
My
good girl.
foundation, yes.
And I think what I'm hearing you say is that your foundation of being a good girl is, like, appearance, how you
Yes.
appear, how
Yeah.
you look, like,
Yes.
how you present yourself to
And
people,
who I'm around.
who you're around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I stay up the streets from the projects, and most of my friends stay down the street, and my mom didn't allow me to go to their houses. That I mean, some of them could come to my house, maybe 1 or 2,
Mhm,
but my mom was very strict.
mhm.
And like I said, I didn't understand that then, but I understand it now, and I'm grateful that she was like that with me now.
No, I understand. The now. We didn't know it then, but the
Right,
now.
the now.
So how did you have to earn love? Do you feel like you had to earn love as a kid?
Yeah, because before my cousin came and stayed with us, both my cousins, boy and a girl, my brother was got all the attention,
Mm,
good and bad, because he was a star in football and he also acted up a lot. He went to juvenile, he was stealing. So I just felt like I was on the back burner. So
mhm,
I knew they loved me because of their actions. My mom wasn't the type to say, I love you. She do it now, but not then because of
mhm.
how she grew up.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I was on the back burner and I was like, hey, I'm over here. I always made good grades and my dad would reward me with money, but they never really showed any affection and anything
Mm,
towards me because I was
mm.
always a good child, never got in trouble. I always made good grades and stuff like that.
I see.
But I never told my mom that because I don't want them to feel that type of way. I guess she did what she thought she had to in her mind. You know how our parents are. They did
Yeah.
what they thought was best back in those days.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
So and you feel like maybe being good in school, do you think that you thought you would earn your parents' love by doing that? Or just being a good child all around?
Well, I was a good child because I ain't want no whipping.
Okay.
And I always wanted to be a nurse ever since I was 3 years old. I knew that's what I wanted to do. Because my dad used to buy me the nursing kits and stuff like that. And I was trying
Mhm.
to make it out. So I just said, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to get that car. And I don't want to live this lifestyle and, breaking generational curses.
I get you, I
Yeah.
get you. So you say, "I can't help that I love hard." You've told me that several times. Who taught you that loving hard means giving everything?
No one.
No one.
Myself. No, nobody. Like I said, my dad was more affectionate towards me than my mom. My dad said, "I love you" more than my mom, but I didn't hear a lot. But they
Mm.
they showed me, through actions.
Well, maybe even if they so when I say taught, that doesn't mean they said it to you, but they could have taught you in their actions.
Yeah.
And so basically loving hard.
Okay. So for me, how I learned about love, but me not knowing I was learning is how my mom and dad worked together. Both of
Mhm,
them was the black sheep of their family, and my dad paid majority of the bills. He didn't have a high school diploma. My mom did, and he would work 3 jobs to take care of us. My mom worked 1,
mhm,
and they worked together. So
mhm.
that's why I'm so I'm okay with, going 50-50 because that's all I know. I didn't know I was loving hard until recently.
Okay.
Or maybe a few years ago.
Okay.
And I had a conversation maybe last week. Oh my God, you give me all these lessons, but you gave me this big heart. Like, what do you want me to do? But no matter what I go through, I try not to let it change me and be bitter about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that speaks to your big heart.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, what I have seen is
I want
that
to be bitter sometimes.
I know. Like I feel like you sometimes I want to be bitter for you.
I
I feel
know.
like sometimes like why are you talking to these folks? And
Yeah.
but I mean I think it's a good characteristic to have, but I think sometimes the duality of it can cause you to be abused in a way. I want to talk about something that you talked to me about, and I think it's very important because sometimes we think we're doing just fine, but things in our past does have an effect on how we live our
Mhm.
life now. So
Thank you,
you
no, but it
we
is.
yeah, it does. And we talked about this. You had a youth pastor who was so you had a youth pastor who was a safe person in your life or some type of influence. How
Mhm.
did that relationship begin and what made you feel safe to trust him?
Okay, so I actually met him outside of church at a park, and he was telling me like how beautiful I was. I think I was like, riding my bike or something with my friend, and he asked for my number. And he knew my mom. His mom knew my mom, and he knew my mom 'cause he was way older than me. And so after that, I knew he went to St. John's, and I went to Mount Calvary, which wasn't that far from each other. And my friend was like, be careful with him because he's kind of. And I knew he was a predator. My friend knew and some other girls knew whatever, but I didn't know. I just liked the attention. I did tell him I was older than I told him I was like 16, but I wasn't 16.
How old were you?
13.
13. Oh, okay. Okay.
And so I gave him my number. We started talking, and then my mama actually let him come over to the house because I guess she thought we was talking about the Bible, whatever, and she knew that he was calling me, and he used to come to school, come pick me up sometime. But my mom didn't know that, so that's how all this started.
Mm.
And then when I used to get out of school, remember my mom would be gone by the time I made it home because she worked evening shift from 3 to 11. So I got home like after 3. My brother had football practice until 5:30, and my dad would go with my brother for football practice. So I would be home alone, and
Mm.
so that's when he'll come pick me up from school and he'll take me home. It started off innocent, and then it just led from there.
So did he ask you how old you were?
Yeah,
And so you told him
not
you were
initially.
okay.
But then it's like how I look now probably is how I look then. I don't know. I was healthy then. I started getting a bigger girl probably after 10 when I hit puberty. I hit
Mhm.
puberty like at 12.
Mhm.
And so, we got church chickens down there with all the hormones. So a lot of girls, like we bloom early. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
So I guess part of it's his fault, but he knew how old I was before we went to that level. He knew that I was younger,
So by the time you guys
was intimate.
were intimate,
Mhm.
he knew you were 13.
Yeah. Mhm.
And he at no point was like, this is not gonna happen.
No,
But
I think he had a mental problem.
you think he had a mental
Yeah,
problem?
something wasn't clicking,
Mm.
or maybe not, or maybe he was just a predator. I just
But you said your friends knew he was a predator.
yeah,
And did she warn you?
yeah, she did.
Mm.
She did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started carrying the fear that he had given you an incurable disease? Because you told me something that just blew my wig back.
Mhm.
That for years you were scared that you might have had HIV.
Yes, because okay, so my mom and dad worked at the hospital, and it was this doctor, the other black gynecologist, and we talked about how weird it was from. Anyway, that's another subject. But he was a well-known doctor, and my mom was in the hospital. And I was like, "Hey, yeah, your mom been telling me that it's time for you to start getting your yearly because I'm 13, going to 14. It's
Mhm.
time get your pap smear and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Why don't we go ahead and make an appointment?" I was like, "Okay, I will." And my mom said, "Why you keep like postponing? Is it somebody?" I said, "No, no. I'm gonna do it. My mom do it. Just not right now. I'm scared. I was just scared. So I didn't want my mom to know that I was having sex or what have you."
But why did you think that you had HIV? Did somebody say something about him?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what
So
happened?
the thing was, after the fact, they said he had HIV. They said he had slept with a girl that had HIV.
Okay.
And I knew, 'cause, you know, like in the South, like we started learning about sexual education in 5th grade. Did you guys like start 4th,
You
5th
know what?
grade?
I think I didn't start learning about it until I went to public school, and I didn't go to public
Yeah.
school until the 7th or 8th grade,
Okay.
and that's when I learned about it.
Okay, yeah. So we started in 5th grade.
Okay.
And that was like, well, you know, it take a couple years for it to develop. I was like, I mean, I have now. What if I have it, you know, later on? And then I don't know. I was just going crazy. I just thought
Mm,
that's why I thought that I had HIV because after the fact, they said that he had slept with someone that had HIV,
mm.
and I was
How did
scared for years.
how did you get away from that situation? I don't feel like, it wasn't necessarily, like, abusive in a sense, but you were too young. He was how old when you started
Oh,
being intimate with him?
was he in his 30s?
He was in his
Yeah,
30s.
early 30s.
That man knew.
Yeah,
So even if you said you were
yeah.
16,
Remember I'm this size.
I understand, but
Yeah,
even if you said you were 16 and he was 30, why was he with a 16-year-old at 30?
pedophile,
Ugh.
pedophile.
Anyways, so how did you get out of that situation? But before I ask you that, how did you carry that secret alone?
I didn't get tested for years because I was scared.
How did that fear haunt you? Like, what did you
It
do
happened me
on a
all the
daily
time.
basis with
It
that?
happened all the time because somebody who I know,
Mhm.
they would go around talking about me that I had HIV because yeah, it's a small town. And we
Oh,
and my cousin, my friend, we all went to the same church. And
wow.
I told her, you know, and some other people know. And they was talking about me. And so I just felt so bad and so alone. Yeah.
You didn't think that would ever get to your parents? Were you scared that it's a small town, so people were talking about it?
I could not. I went to lie so down and tell my mom 'cause my mom had a bad temper at that time and she was very overprotective. So I did not want her to kill nobody.
Yeah,
Yeah, because she would have.
I understand
Yeah.
that. Well, we're gonna break this up just a little bit. We're gonna have you spin the wheel.
Okay. Right here?
Yeah,
Or right on the spin.
yeah.
Big bus bit. I'm sorry.
What did you get?
5.
You got a what you mean?
I like even numbers.
Okay.
It's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing. You like even
Mm.
numbers. I see. Okay, let's see. Let's see the number that correlates with number 5.
Mhm.
And that question
Okay.
is
Oof.
okay. What would loving hard look like if it included loving yourself that hard too? That's a good
Okay,
question.
say it one more time. Let me absorb it.
What would loving hard look like if it included loving yourself that hard too? If you were to go hard, you know
You
how you go
know,
hard on people.
I do. And okay, so I know I love myself, but I put other people before me sometimes, depending on the
So wait,
situation.
what would it look like if you loved yourself
Uh-huh.
first?
Okay, so I got to dissect that because, you know, I do all the things. You know, I'm about self care. I like to get hair and nails done. I like to look nice. You know, all the things, right? But internally, that's a good question.
Hmm.
That's a good question.
Imagine what you think it would look like.
If I gave myself the love that I get other people, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, boundaries, and people don't like we have boundaries, and it make me feel more empowered.
Mm.
Boundaries,
Boundaries.
yes.
I can get with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. I like that question
Mm-hmm.
and I like that answer.
That was a strong call. You trying to interrupt my mind this early in the morning? Yeah.
First thing, yes, I am. I'm trying to interrupt her mind and I'm trying to
Oh,
interrupt your
girl,
mind.
you in the wrong field,
I
honey.
want y'all to think. This right here
I'm
is
gonna interview
called,
you.
it's what we call talk therapy.
Hmm.
Okay.
I love this.
All right. So we're going to move on to how a big heart learns to miss red flags. Okay. After betrayal by someone spiritual, so young, how do you think that rewired what you thought love and attention were supposed to feel like?
After that situation.
Mm
I didn't really think nothing. Well, yes, I did. Well, I felt betrayed
hmm. Mm
and I felt nasty.
hmm.
I felt like I couldn't go into nursing for some reason. I
Mm.
done had all this weight on me about, you know, about that particular situation.
So, looking at your first adult relationships, you talk about some very toxic situations. What were the early red flags that your big heart tried to paint pink? or explain away?
I always been a giver, always, always, always since I can remember. And my first relationship as a adult, he was old. I was 18, he was 37. I met him on my graduation night, and he had some addictions that I didn't know about initially. And my mom and dad didn't talk about these things. I didn't know what was toxic and all this kind of stuff. So I just feel like I was super one. I want to help him through that. We stayed together for like 5, 6 years. But he was the really only relationship that he really gave to me physically and financially. But I also gave to him. And I wasn't working at the time, but I remember in school
Mhm.
and we used to get our refund checks like the first month after we got our books and stuff. It's not like now you have to wait until
Oh, yeah,
October.
I remember that refund check. Mhm.
So, he stayed in the country like an hour away from me, and it was sometime my mom would let me use the car. So I said, "Well, how we gonna, I'm in school and stuff like that. How we gonna see each other?" So I'm a problem solver.
Mhm.
So I gave him a whole refund to put down, not to buy a car, to put down on a car so
Mm.
we could see each other. So I just took it upon myself. He didn't ask me. It was just something
Mm.
that I wanted, but he accepted. And like, yeah.
So him as a 37-year-old man accepted
Yeah.
your school refund
Yeah,
check as an
yeah, yeah,
18-year-old to
yeah.
buy a car
Yeah, that's what
for you to see him. You
Yeah,
see?
yeah,
Okay.
that's embarrassing, but it's honest.
No, it's
It's
honest. And
embarrassing,
and
yeah.
here's the thing. There are people who have done that,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
I've done similar things. Not that, but I've done similar
I know,
things.
I know, I know.
With cars as
Because
well.
it's like, even now, I'm trying to be more responsible. I am responsible because I do have to pay bills, but, I just feel like I'm always gonna make it back. And,
Mhm.
if you give, you get it back. I always thought like that, so I ain't never been the one just hold on to money like that. I don't know, that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So as you look back, do you see that as a red flag? Did you
Yeah.
see that as a red flag
Oh,
then?
no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And so and I mean, I know we throw the word abuse around. I
Mhm,
don't want to throw that around, but what I want to show you is that this is more of like a conditioning,
mhm.
that he and other men were conditioning you to be okay with letting your money just fly off because, oh, I made that decision because
Mhm.
I want to see you. But in reality, these men were older
Yeah.
and they were taking advantage of you
His daughter
financially.
was older than me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you realize your giving was being treated like a bank account? What story did you tell yourself to keep giving when you realized that?
Okay, so with this relationship, it really was there was the first relationship, it was like a give and take, but yeah, 'cause I wasn't working.
But in the future, like not just this relationship, but in your adult relationships, that was a start. That was one of those red flags that you
When I got
ignored
married,
when you got married.
yeah.
Okay. Take us there when you got married.
Okay,
Wait,
so
let's hold on. I want to go back because you almost didn't become a nurse.
yeah.
And I want to talk about that story
Mhm.
because this goes into how
The story
you
that we talked about the other day?
yeah,
Mhm,
you wanted to be a nurse since you were 3 years old.
mhm.
You went to school right out of high school.
I did. I came a LPN first.
Yes.
Then, when I met this particular guy, that we talked about the other day, I came to nurse when I was, what, 20, 21 or something like that?
Mhm.
Anyway, up in there, and then I went right back to school at 23 to
Mhm.
get RN. Met this guy and dropped out of school. I was working 2 jobs, had 2 cars, lost everything in a week. I
Mm.
literally, I left one of my cars with my brother. That's how you know, he wasn't for me, okay?
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, Imma take care of you." His brother lived in, Atlanta, which is 4 hours from my mom's stay. And my mom was like, "My daughter's in school, and she dropping everything for you. How you gonna take care?" But he did have a job, but not a stable job.
Mm.
We got to Atlanta, I took one of my cars with me, got wrecked 3 days later, and I went to go get my other car for my brother. He was angry, but it's my car. I said, "I need this car," whatever, and we wrecked that within the same week.
Wait, so you wrecked 2
Mhm.
cars. Both of your cars
Yeah,
got wrecked.
lost both my jobs because I moved in with him, lost both my jobs, lost everything.
And this guy was also abusive to
Yeah,
you.
and older.
So tell me the story about how you almost didn't get your nursing license,
My RN?
your RN.
Okay, so before I went, remember, I was in school and I was working at the nursing home. I was an LPN. And one of the residents said that I didn't give him that medication, but I marked that I did give it. So they said, oh, it's a falsifying documentation because the clients that, and, he was in it right now. I was like, I don't know. That was last year. Maybe I don't know. I
Mhm.
can't say yes or no.
Mhm.
And I was being honest. So they took his word and they turned me to the state board of nursing. Well, nothing big,
Mhm.
but I had to do like a documentation class. And I had to report back to the state board of nursing to do because I have to go through what you call it, the interview with them. What you
Mhm.
call it?
Recertification?
Well, I had to meet with the board first to
Mhm.
see. I didn't know. I thought I would maybe like they don't play about nothing,
Mhm.
so I didn't know what the outcome gonna be. They was like, "Well, since you was apologetic and you admit to, you didn't say a strong no." Oh, I was just like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That may could have happened. I can't remember that before.
Mhm.
So they just decided for me to do the documentation class. So, when my mom came and got me, I was like, "I'm not going nowhere without Leon." So that was his name, Leon. He did now. Leon, and I put everything on the line. Remember, I had my LPN license
Mm.
and I was going to school for my RN, but I had dropped out of school by this time.
Mm.
But I still had to go through the class because if I didn't do it within 3 months, I could have lost my license. That's what the recommendation for me to do in order for me to keep practicing as an LPN.
Okay.
So I say, Mom, I'm not going anywhere unless Leon come. And my mom is a very stubborn woman, and she don't play nobody stay in her house if you're not married. Not even my brother. Okay,
Mhm.
she went against what she know to make sure her daughter had a brighter future. Oh
Mhm.
God, I just feel like I put my mom through so much because
Mhm.
like I know that that's forbidden for her, and for her to do that just to save my future, means a lot. Now that I
Mhm.
think about it.
And you were gonna put it on the line for him.
Mhm.
And had he already hit you by then?
Oh yeah, he hit me the first night that we moved there. The very first night. I never hit me before. The very first night.
So the very first night he got you away from your family, he
Yeah.
hit you,
Mhm. Yeah.
and you were gonna put your nursing degree.
Yeah, and I said this is for a whole year, not working. He didn't want to. Cause remember, I had my nursing license. I could have worked in Georgia, but by me not having both my cars,
Mm.
I didn't have no way to get my car. We stayed out in like the Union City. That's like maybe 30 minutes out from Atlanta.
Mm.
And so I thought I would have my car, I can go to work and stuff, but it didn't happen like that. But I feel like that was God telling me, like, you're not gonna be here long.
Like, you gotta get away from this
Yes,
dude.
honey, yes. And my mom said she was praying too. But they were very disappointed.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did no start feeling harder to say than yes, even when your body didn't feel safe? So this guy started physically abusing you after he got you away from your family, but you were still saying yes to him in some way, right? So when your
It was
your
just by
body did.
force. But
Oh, okay.
I always been stubborn.
So you you
Um
you feel like you were being forced
Oh
even when you
yeah,
weren't.
because basically, the first night that we was there, his brother was back and forth because he worked in Atlanta, but he was from New Orleans, so we was there alone,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Okay, go ahead and take off your clothes." I was like, "Huh, I gotta take a bath. We
Uh-huh.
we just drove 5 6 hours, what I'm saying, to take a bath." He's like, "No, you need to take your clothes off right now." I was like, and then we just started going there. And he hit me, whatever. And then when I say no, I mean no. I'm very stubborn, and so whenever I said yes, it was a forced yes.
Do you think, and I'm going back to, I know you say this all the time. A little bit I disagree, but you like church folks be acting the fool. Da, da, da. Why do I need to go to church? Because they always use it. So I feel like one of your first encounters with men, well, it was your first
Yeah, it
encounter with the
was.
men, was somebody that supposedly was a man of God.
Mhm.
How do you think that God or scripture was used to keep you small? And does that influence how the rest of your relationships went?
Oh, he used scriptures for everything. That's one thing I liked about him. I just thought he was just so smart and so, godly. He knew all these scriptures. He was so like knowledgeable. I
Mhm.
think that was
Attracted you to him.
yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So that he knew all these scriptures and stuff. I just thought it was just the greatest. I mean, not thinking he was a pedophile.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking like that 'cause I was a child. I was 13.
Yeah.
you know? So, what was your question? Answer
So
that.
I was just saying that, how do you think that control was used to keep you small or maybe even small-minded when it comes to, like, how people are in the church or how because that was your first introduction to abuse, so to
But you
speak.
gotta understand, like, I'm not the one. I mean, a couple of my friends got molested by pastors and, youth pastors and stuff like that, and one of her cousins and some of my other friends, so
Yeah.
okay, so I would say this. I did have my dad in my life my whole life, and he's still here, thank God. But my dad green, my mom's green. They didn't tell me anything about relationships. Like,
Mm.
when I went to college, I felt like it was so much like that I had to learn on my own.
Yeah.
I just had to get out there.
Yeah.
Where I'm glad, but it could have went way left real fast, worse than what it did.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. My mom just sheltered me so much. Like I said, she just did what she thought she knew how. And then Anthony, my mom said my dad went along with it.
Right.
She never been in relationships before. My dad's the only person she knew. So she didn't know anything about relationships. My dad was the only relationship she had.
Yeah.
So what's she gonna tell me? I mean, what can I learn about my mom about relationships, you know?
So I feel like that, and I wanna get to this part
Okay.
because you have had situations that you were not able to explain, but you also weren't able to vent to anybody about. So even before this situation with this person, there were other things that you were exposed to, but no fault of your own, no fault of your parents, but you should not have been put in that situation.
Mhm.
And so I guess what I'm getting at is that the way you give financially, physically, mentally,
Mhm.
you were conditioned to give that way just by the experiences that you endured, but you never had an outlet to tell anybody, hey, this is what happened to me.
Yeah, I was too embarrassed for one thing. Was it embarrassing? Well, I couldn't tell about well, my friends knew, a couple of them about the pastor, and
Uh-huh.
by me telling them, they talked about me. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that led me to keep things internal too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are going to have you spin the wheel again
Okay.
so we can break this monotony a little bit, huh?
We get these little icons back.
So I'm gonna have you spin the wheel. We're gonna take out number 5 because you already did that.
Okay. I'm hoping for number 2
Okay,
or
hold on.
4.
Let me take out number
Look
5.
at you.
Okay,
You're
go ahead.
so amazing. Okay.
Let's go.
Number 2. Let's go.
Look at you. Okay.
Casino time. Cha-ching. Okay, stop it.
All right.
And then
So
number 2, y'all.
it landed on number 2.
Mhm.
This is what she wanted, and this is what she got. All right.
Let's see what this about.
What lie about love did you have to unlearn that you learned in the church? What lie about love did you have to unlearn that you learned in the church?
Huh. The pastor used to say, "Don't do as I do as I say," and I always disagree with that ever since I was a child, a teenager.
Mm.
I never understood that. Cause you're
Mhm.
supposed to be the example of the church,
Mm.
and so God give you this big leadership. How can you not say? God had to be the. I mean, we're not God, right? I mean, we're not Jesus. We're not perfect at all,
Right.
but you gotta be somewhat. I guess.
The example.
Yeah, the example.
Yeah, it's I think if God called
Oh,
you
but
to
they
a
live
high
by that. Yeah.
position, then you have the duty
Mm-hmm.
to uphold yourself to a
Yeah,
higher standard
exactly.
because you have people that are watching you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if everybody in church is, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's more devils in the church than Christians. This is my opinion, but
Well,
no, I'm getting away from that
no,
though.
I get what you're saying. I think that the one perspective is that we need to see is that the church is a hospital. Everybody is a sinner there. It's no point to point fingers because we're all sinners. We're all
Right.
came to the hospital for healing,
Hmm.
right? And so at least if you in the hospital, you can get the healing you need versus
But
being
if
outside the
the lead
hospital.
and you tell and you keep like stabbing people, but you want people to get healed, but you don't want to do the stabbing, it just don't make no sense.
I understand, but you're gonna eventually have to go to a hospital that works,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's all I mean. And when I say that, I don't mean the church
And
as a
I try to
building.
be open minded. Like I be like, what are you hiding? Cause we all are human, right? And I know they're of a higher standard, but they're still human.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm getting, as I get older, I'm getting away from that too.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We be listen. When me and her have conversations, we get on tangents that probably
Yeah.
have nothing to do with what we do. But you gonna get this podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
okay?
My
Okay.
bad.
So
Yeah.
that we gonna go back. Yeah, we went with. That's my bad. I had to ask the
Okay,
question.
okay, okay.
Okay, so you had the situation with this guy, right? You were scared for years, and I'm gonna put you on a little bit of Front Street. You were afraid, but you were still dating people, but you thought that you might have had HIV. When did you decide to get tested?
Oof. Was it my 20s?
In your 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. And girl, this is embarrassing. I guess I just felt like, I mean, while I'm while I'm using the condom for, I probably already got it anyway. I'm
Mhm.
just saying,
Mhm.
as a teenager,
Mhm.
it's just, and that maybe I feel like that's the reason why I couldn't conceive before I found out that I wasn't HIV. So yeah, that was my mindset. And
Mhm.
then, what was the question again? Sorry,
No,
I'm
I was saying
rambling.
you were still, with people. You're supposed to disclose that information, but I know you were a kid. You were
Yeah, but
young.
I didn't know for sure, but that was reckless behavior.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely we wanna make sure that we're putting that out there,
Yeah, and these was during the times where, HIV was a death a sentence.
So now we're gonna get back into our subject because we got way off topic. I want to talk about, and not everything. We're not gonna dive in right now because we're gonna do another podcast
Okay.
there. But I just want to. We're gonna talk about this like trajectory of where you're at now. So you were taken advantage of. You saw the red flags financially. You saw the red flags. Someone
Yeah.
grooming you, and then there was physical abuse. Take me to a situation where there were red flags before you got married, when you got married, and what brought you to get a divorce. And then 2026, you had three very rocky situations, and there were red flags there, but you kept going because, like we talked about, you're like, Lord, I can't help who I love. So start off with you're dating, you're about to get married. What were the red flags you ignored?
First of all, no boundaries. And I stayed in the marriage because I felt like I was gonna be a failure. Because everybody in my family have been long time. Like my sister-in-law, her parents been together since forever. My parents been together since high school. My brother and his wife been together since high school. I don't want to feel like a failure.
Hmm.
That's why I stay and try to like maintain it.
Okay.
I love my life in all other areas except in relationships. Before I got married, very green, no boundaries. I guess I just love whoever loved me.
Mm.
I was more thinking of the physical appearance, nothing else. Honestly,
Basically you said, I guess I just love whoever loved me.
I love whoever loved me, and
Mm.
I was color struck. You know what that means? I was color struck.
You so light skinned guys?
Yeah, so it was very like looked like he was white, and my ex husband was very light skinned. Then worry about what he could offer me, and then worry about his relationship with God, then worry about his financial, and then worry about none of those things.
You just was looking at the color and how he looked.
Yes,
Mm.
that's it.
And because he loved you, you loved
And
him.
mind you, I'm in my 20s. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mhm.
And at that time, I had only been in like one serious relationship.
Mhm.
And by everybody from the South getting married early, shoot, at 26, I thought I was in a rush. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang,
Mm. Yeah.
Shandy, you almost 30, no kids. I ain't worried about the kids, but you ain't married, nothing.
Mm.
So I rushed into it. I mean, he asked me first, but yeah, we rushed into it.
Was he older as well?
He was 5 years older than me.
Okay, so
So
not bad.
not too bad.
Yeah. Okay. And then in the relationship, you endured definitely financial abuse,
Uh-huh.
definitely manipulation.
By him and the family.
Was there physical abuse there as well or no?
One time when he was cheating, I never cheated now. When I had a foot out the door,
Uh-huh.
when I had all these calls from other women saying they've been in my car, they've been in my house.
Mhm.
After all that, when he knew I had a foot out the door and was talking to someone else, not really talking, just conversating. At
Mhm.
that time, we wasn't even living together.
Mhm.
That's when he almost pushed him out the 5-foot building. he moved to his mom's house in New Orleans, and I was still in Mississippi. So we had separated, but we was trying to come back together.
Mhm.
So of course, during separation, I feel like we finna get a divorce before I got the divorce.
Mhm.
Of course, I'd be talking to other people, but I never was sexual.
Mhm.
I was talking to other people, and so he looked at my phone. He thought it was Judgment Day or something. I said, "You this
After he
stuff."
cheated on you so
Several
many times.
times. I decided to give it another chance. And he said, for it to work, you're gonna have to move to New Orleans. And I agreed. I didn't want to. But you know how to, being married at work. So
Mhm.
me moving into him with his mom and dad, that was the worst decision I ever could make. My mom told me. But I, want to make my marriage work. Thought he was gonna cheating and he didn't. And then when I told him, when he lost his job and then he didn't really want to get another one
Mhm.
and started depending on me, and his mom wanted me to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got to be working at 7. When he
Mhm.
was working to fix his lunch. But you ain't paying no rent. I was the only one paying rent. I was the only one paying for food. He did not help me in that. And then when I realized, this is when I started taking a look at myself. So I was like, after all I done for you, him and his mom saying nobody put a gun to your head to make you do those things.
Mm.
That was the very first time I started looking at myself like, Shannon, they right.
Mm.
They right. But I thought I just did it out of love. And how dare you?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Mm. So what was the last straw that made you say, "I need a divorce. I need to get out of this"? And did you
We
still love him? Mm.
of course, but at some point you gotta love yourself enough to let it go.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, girl, I cry all the time. But I had to move here
Mhm.
for me to get away from him because he never would have stopped because he's lazy, don't want to work. He want to use me as a crush and also be able to do what he wants to do.
Right.
And then him, I would be, cause we live with the mom. Well, at least you're the wife and you'll get everything if something happened to him. Like, what is that? So I told my mom what she said. My mom was ready to come to a house.
See?
And so that's why I can't
Back
tell my
to
mom that.
conditioning.
Yeah.
This woman is trying to condition you to be okay
Yeah.
with the abuse that you're
But
dealing
you
with
won't be
from
okay
her
with that in
son.
your marriage nor in your daughter's
No, she
marriage.
would be okay, and that's why she's telling you to be okay,
You think
because
so?
these women are complacent. This is what I want to say to people out there. Men are not the only abusers. There are a lot of women who facilitate their sons being financially, spiritually, mentally, and physically
Okay.
abusive to women.
Yeah.
And the reason, this is my feeling, the reason why mothers facilitate that is because they had to deal with it
Yeah.
from their husbands. And
His
so
dad
they're
was
like,
abusive. Yeah.
okay, well, if I have to deal with it,
Yeah.
then I'ma groom
Yeah.
somebody else, condition somebody else to
Yeah,
deal
yeah,
with it.
want me to treat him like a king, and I'm getting abused over there. So, and this is why I can't never be honest with my parents because my mom ready to drive 3 hours away to come check this lady in her own
Listen, Mama
house.
Grady said, I remember what was the last dude he hit you or something, and what your mama say? I'll
She
shoot you
said,
dead.
uh
Say it like your mama said it.
huh. So I didn't tell my mom, like I said, I know how my mom was. So my homegirl that stay in Atlanta, so she told my mom what he was doing to me, and she said, "You put your hands on my child again, I'll shoot you right where you stand."
Come
Playing.
on, Mama Grady.
She ain't playing.
So, I mean, even in that, my question to you is, you saw these flags, right? And you knew you had like a protective mother, right? So you knew you had somebody that would protect you. So you knew you had people that cared about you. What still made you say, I'm going to choose these men?
I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe I didn't love myself enough. Maybe that's why I need to go to therapy to see what's underneath everything.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm suppressing something. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, I be wondering about that too.
Yeah. The conversation that we had, it brought tears to my eyes when you were just saying, like, God, I have a big heart. Like, you gave this to me,
Mhm,
so
mhm,
what do I do with it?
mhm.
And I would posit that maybe He gave it to you to protect it. He wants you to be a witness to people and be kind and loving to people, but
Can I say something?
yeah.
Okay, this just my interpretation. God, I love you. I'm tired of all these tests. Like, when I'm gonna stop with the
Well,
tests?
listen, you
But
don't.
I told you
If
with
you
this last situation, I know we ain't got to this part yet, but
okay,
with the last situation, I'm proud of myself because It was somebody who I thought I wanted to marry, and kind of found out the bigger manipulation of my life. You know what I'm saying, with him and the family. But anyway, I asked God that, and I know I'm not better than nobody else. I'm not better than Job, and he
Mhm.
went through the biggest test, right?
Mhm.
But I think back in the old days, you know what I'm saying, you could really actually talk to God. It's like now, we can't talk to God, but it was more. What's the word I'm looking for?
I think we look at these stories in hindsight, but even then, maybe sometimes they didn't feel like God heard them. And let me say something about the tests. There are 2 type of tests, okay? Sometimes with the one type of test that maybe you keep being tested with, and I sent you a video
I
about
but
this.
I told you about that. I told you that the last 3 relationships that I've been through
Mhm.
has been the same demon,
Mm.
and I didn't get the lesson because God had to set me down himself, and not me saying, "This is enough."
So
To
you
this
just answered
lesson.
your question.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we
I
don't
was getting
pass
to
the
that.
test, you gotta take it again.
Yeah.
And again and again until you pass the test. So I know we don't have enough time this
Oh,
time
man.
when
You
we
gonna cut up with us
no,
good?
no, no, no. We gonna get into it, but I do wanna round this out because we
Okay.
because we don't want to weary the people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
We're gonna do a part
Some people
two.
got
Yeah, because some people only gonna
uh-uh.
listen to 2 minutes of
Yeah,
this thing,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
you. So I have a question: how does all of that, all of the situation, like you had financial abuse just recently, people
Mhm.
stealing from you,
Yeah.
all the things, physical, mental, how does that live in your body today? How do you think it shows up in your sleep, anxiety, your trust of people?
Like I said, I do want to be bitter, but I can't be bitter because I always have to be Shandy and show up for me. As who I know I am, and I take accountability because God always gives signs. I seen the signs early on.
Mhm.
I seen the signs early on. At some point, it's so crazy because at some point, I feel like I was trying to teach him a lesson. That's why I was
Mhm.
like, you hear us argue all the time. I don't know why I dealt with that. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I felt like you guys, okay, you want war? I'm gonna show you war. Oh, you think you can change me? Let me show you something. I was
Mm.
wasting my time.
Mm.
I was wasting my time.
Mm.
And he thought I would bring him up here. I was gonna marry him, and I just feel like it was just a waste of time, energy, waste of time, energy on my part, waste of money. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Not on his part, 'cause he ain't doing a dang on thing.
Right.
I'm trying to
Right.
keep it PG.
So, my question, I already know the answer to this, but has it just been romantic partners or have you noticed friends and family also taking
Oh,
advantage of your big heart?
all the above.
All the above.
Even my own family, like you and Vanessa, ever give me anything? Like I know once I said to my family, then they start feeling some type of way, but it's the truth.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Even this last Christmas, I give my mom and dad money and stuff, and my sister-in-law, my brother's like, "Well, what his?" I said, "Well, what mine?"
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I just think for so long, I just been a giver in my family and my relationships and stuff like that, where it's a friendship or relationships or family. You know what I'm saying? People get comfortable.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
expect it.
And then when you set boundaries, it's a big problem when
Yes.
you set boundaries.
But you know what? What you told me, that means some people aren't meant to be. They're not
Yeah.
meant to be around you. They're not
Mhm.
meant to be in your life, or at least not for that
Mhm.
season.
Mhm.
Because if your boundaries are hurting
Mhm.
someone's chances of hurting you,
Mhm.
that's good for you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just learning that too.
Yeah,
I'm just learning that too. And it goes for you too.
I know.
See, with me, my circle's small though.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of
Your
people.
circle is small,
Yeah.
but you help a lot of people.
Yeah.
People that are not even in your circle.
Yeah. 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 And I'm okay being by myself. But of course I do want love at some point, but right now I'm just like healing myself in this situation. It's still kind of fresh.
I understand.
But although I have my days, I feel like a weight is lifted off of me
Mhm.
because I feel like I was taking on his burden, his demons, and it was just getting too much.
Because when you give yourself to somebody,
Hmm.
whatever they have in them,
Sure do.
whatever you have in you, and
Yep.
for women especially, not to be too explicit, but we receive. We're the
Yeah, let me get a
receiver.
yoni cleanse. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all of that energy, all of his
It
demons, all of
really,
his
yeah,
pain, his trauma,
everything.
you're
Yeah.
receiving that.
And then when I release him, when I say the next day. I felt like a new person.
Wow.
Feel
You
like I
let
lost
that go.
300 pounds. Yeah,
Ooh, come
I
on.
did.
Come on. So, when did this shift happen? We just spoke about this, but when you said what's wrong with my heart, do you think that you're still waiting for the shift to happen from what's wrong with my heart to what's wrong with how they treated my heart?
Well, like I said, it goes back to accountability for myself. Cause I'm too old to be going through these things. All the red flag was there from the beginning. Since the first time I went to go see him.
Mm,
Well, before I went to go see him, the red flag was there. I just ignored them. So I'm taking accountability. You gotta take accountability. God do he did get seeing the signs. Some women get in situations they never get out of. Are they ignoring the red flags, or is it their karma, or I don't know what it is. But with me, yeah, it was there from the beginning. I was just ignoring it because I wasn't enjoying,
the attention.
yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
This what I want to say to my friend. I'm turning to her.
Okay.
I'ma hold her hand so she don't
Okay.
think I'm trying to be
Well,
rude. But we talk about this all the time.
acting like your mama.
Just like acting like Miss Keith.
Yeah.
just just like you see the red flags,
Mhm.
you know I be watching like a hawk. I see the red flags a mile away.
Mhm.
But you are my big sis. And
Mhm.
I think that there are times where I have decided like you've already made your decision. So I can't talk to you about the situation.
Let me intervene. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, you can. I'm not one of the ones that just not gonna sit here and be like I don't want to hear it. Everything you told me, everything Vanessa told me, like I told her the other day, I listen and I keep it in the back of my mind.
Right.
So you can talk to me about anything. If you see something, tell me and let me try to digest that. Even with you, I'm just gonna tell you certain things one time, and
Mm,
then you have to make the decision. Like you'll tell me something,
mm.
I have to make the decision. Just because I don't do it abruptly, I mean I'm not listening.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I listen to you and I listen to Vanessa, but that's telling me the same thing that you was telling me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right, last
listening.
spin. She said she listened, y'all. We're gonna do one more spin so we can get one more question, one
Okay.
more random
We'll
question.
go with number 4.
Okay, we're gonna take two out the bank, and we're gonna go with number 4. Let's see if we
No worries, no worries.
come on, number 4. Let's go.
Man,
Almost
number
got number 4. So
3.
number
I hate
3.
3.
See, we don't like odd numbers
It's
around here.
incompletion.
Okay, let's see. Number 3. Wow. When did you learn that forgiveness does not mean access? Or are you still learning that?
No, baby, just recently.
Mm,
Well, no, with when I ended my marriage, you can definitely forgive someone and move on.
mhm.
But does that mean not holding a grudge? See, I don't know how to distinguish if it's a grudge or is it hurt that I'm trying to
Yeah, that's a good
but
thing.
well, that's something I'm praying about.
Yeah.
Thank
Do
God I stopped it where I stopped it. Thank God I didn't file for that thing to come over here and then just a misery of a lifetime of hurt and pain. Is your
hallelujah.
marriage? Yeah.
Hallelujah. Girl, I don't care if you
Y'all God so good.
I would have been
He's
waiting at
so
I would
good
have been waiting at that
because
border
I
like,
no,
"No,
my brother would have.
no,
I
denied,
know.
no
Right,
entry,
right.
this
Let,
America."
let, let me tell you, I know God loved me because when I was trying to get property over there, you remember I was trying to buy
Mhm,
land over there? That's when I found out he was cheating. This last time, trying to come up here, although it's that he can't come up here right now due to the limitations and stuff.
mhm,
That's when I found out he was cheating again and doing some other stuff.
mhm,
God was like, absolutely not. So
mhm.
I didn't have no. The sign was just too big. It was right there in my face for me to
God said,
ignore.
"Lay not your hand on my anointed." Okay? Stay over there in your country. Okay, but
Oh,
lastly,
I thank
I
God.
wanted to go back. I know that you and my mom are like the most forgiving people I know. I don't know any other people who will just turn around and forgive literally the next day or the next hour when somebody does something to them. But the question that I posed was, how do you make sure you're not confusing forgiveness with access? Because, I get on you all the time. Well, why you still answer the phone? Well, don't answer the phone for this person. You're giving them
Baby.
access to you, even though you have forgiven them.
Yes. Okay, so I cut things off with him. Was it in April or May? In one of those months. And he called for my birthday. Thank you. Happy birthday. I miss you. No, thank you. I told him, listen, I forgive you, but we can never be back together.
Mhm.
And I don't want to continue like talking to you. I think I talked to him for like a couple of days.
Mhm.
But me not being angry, me not holding a grudge,
Mhm.
me still being hurt, but still, still like I guess he was confused because he
Mm.
think I'm gonna be yelling and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not, baby. I let all that go.
When I break, I break.
Yes, and I kept telling him when I'm done, I'm done.
Right.
If you know that about me,
No,
when
yeah, I
I'm
know.
done, I'm done.
I
Yeah,
know. I want to round this out. I could go so many directions with you. Like we could talk for
I
hours.
know.
But I just want you to talk to a young girl, 13, 16, 18, 22. You went through all those phases. You're still surviving because you're still dealing with it. You have a big heart. There's nothing wrong with that. When you see the red flags, what do you tell these young ladies to do?
What would I tell them? Like I said, I'm 46 and I'm just learning this with this relationship. Just listen to your intuition. Although, if you don't leave on the first red flag, put it in the back of your mind. Life is like math, everything's going to add up eventually. Don't ignore it. Like, even with you, like I said, I listen to you guys. I said
Mhm.
my friends, whatever. I only got 2 friends that I really listen to. And so everything was adding up to what y'all was saying, what I was seeing, what God was giving me, my dreams. I just woke up one day with epiphany. I was like, either gonna be him or me. I was losing money, losing everything. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just gonna tell you, I can't tell nobody what to do. But when God give you signs, just listen, put it, write it down, add it up. But when it becomes to be too much, then you're gonna know. And don't like keep being in something it's not gonna be healthy for you.
Mm.
And I knew for a long time. I was with him for 2 years. I think after the first 6 months that I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Mm.
Why I stayed attached to this situation, I don't know.
Mm.
But I just thank God I got out of it before I was gonna make a rash decision
Mhm.
that was gonna be life changing.
Mm.
So I'm just glad that I got out of it when I did. But God favored me. I got favor on my life. I am grateful for that. Because every time I was gonna make a rash decision with him and that family, he was like, "Absolutely not." It's something I just couldn't ignore.
And that's a theme that went on. Every time you was gonna make a decision
Yeah,
that was gonna make things permanent for you, in all these situations, God was like,
he's
That's
he
not
he
gonna
stopped
happen."
it. I had gave the realtor the money. I had picked out the land. I did everything. I had put down on the remember the apartment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had put on everything. And when I found out what I found out, when I post had signed everything, I did everything. God was like, "Now look at this," and I just canceled everything
Wow.
right then and there.
So you heard it here. This is Shandy's story. This is Survivor's Residuum. Listen,
Yeah.
we are all surviving something,
Yes.
or we have survived, and we
Yes.
all have stories. Everybody's story needs to be recorded because
Mhm.
we can all learn.
Mhm.
And we will be back again next time with the next episode of Survivor's Residuum. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I
and I
appreciate
and I
it.
just thought, honestly, I just thought I was above the program because I am a psych nurse. I thought I was above the program, and I know what
Mhm.
narcissistic is, what narcissistic behavior is. But when you're in it, you don't see it. You see it,
Mm,
but you kind of like, oh, it's gonna get better. Maybe I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And girl, y'all thought I was bigger than the program, so maybe I
mm,
do need therapy.
mm.
I do need therapy. Yeah.
Imma keep that in there.
Hmm.
Thank you for tuning in to Survivor's Residuum. Oh, remember, don't forget to remember to use your noggin. Bye.